Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another FS Expo 2025 update, and this one's going to be for Parallel 42. Multiple update to their softwares including ChasePlane as well as Flow and a bit more, so stick around. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Alright, so jumping right into that, for those of you who may not know, ChasePlane is an incredibly powerful camera system that is now available for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and more information on 2024 in this video, so stick around. But it allows you to create far more than just custom views. You get cinematics, flyby views, add things like physics, and other camera adjustments that make it very, very versatile and powerful. The other wonderful thing about ChasePlane is there is no limit to the number of custom cameras you can assign, where in Microsoft Flight Simulator default, you are limited to a number of 10, where again with ChasePlane you can set as many as you want, as well as many keybinds. It works with things like Stream Decks and all kinds of other very powerful tools that make your camera system experience far superior to what the in-game can provide. So, getting right into the enhancements, and these are just a handful of the enhancements that were mentioned at the Flight Sim Expo 2025. This update will be releasing next week, so please keep in mind that it is not yet out. They want to obviously get back to their homes and be able to be available should anything go wrong with the updates. They can be around for support and not busy with the expo, so I completely respect and understand that decision. So now let's get into the changes. As I'm sure most of you have put together now by the splash screen here, Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is now compatible with ChasePlane. Tobii Eye Tracker, for those who may not know, is a single piece of hardware that allows you to use your eyes to track the camera position, meaning that you can either look down with just your eyes without moving any of your head to look at various gauges, things like that. One of the most beautiful examples I ever saw was, for example, you can be flying around and use just your eyes to track a vehicle on the ground, and you will notice that no matter what you do, the camera will remain focused there. It is a very, very powerful tool, very, very effective, and it also has head tracking as well, so you get your both head and eye tracking inside of the simulator. Now, where that benefit comes into play, not to make this about Tobii Eye Tracker, but just to understand the benefit of why it works with ChasePlane, is that, as I said, you can use just your eyes for slight movements, like if you're glancing down at your gauges, maybe over at a radio panel, or you have the ability with using this same single device to use your head to obviously make larger movements, looking at overhead panels, looking behind you for your approach, whatever it may be. So ChasePlane, with all of its camera customization options, which again are extremely powerful, you actually have the ability to add head tracking to a specific camera. So when you create a specific camera in ChasePlane, you then have the ability to add, yes, I want this camera to be functional with head tracking, or not functional, meaning that with the combination of Tobii Eye Tracker, you now have that one device and you can now determine which cameras the Tobii Eye Tracker will work for and which views it will not. So Tobii Eye Tracker 5 being now compatible with ChasePlane, a very big deal, very awesome for them, and great work on Parallel 42 for adding that. I know that was a bit of a long rant, so forgive me. The rest of them should be quite a bit faster. Next, we have named shortcuts. By default, Parallel 42 has just about every camera view that you could need for almost every single aircraft that I can think of in the sim. Every single one I have ever tried has a set of pre-built cameras within Parallel 42's ChasePlane, and they work fantastic. However, if you want to customize those cameras, you can, as well as giving them new nicknames. Therefore, they won't have the same identifying title as you do in other aircraft. For example, whether or not you are in an Airbus or a Boeing, pilot is pilot, co-pilot is co-pilot, MCDU is MCDU, where now you will be able to change those to identify a specific portion or custom camera that you want it identified as based on the aircraft you are flying. That nickname for that camera will be associated to the aircraft, and so you can have basically an immeasurable amount of cameras and titles that are very specific to you, that are easily identifiable to you as well, to know exactly which camera you're wanting to get to. So a small feature and yet a huge one in the mix. This next one is a huge one that I am super excited for, and that is custom cinematics. So ChasePlane already brought a cinematic view, which in case you weren't aware, it's exactly what it sounds like, as if you were making like a movie trailer or something like that. You want those really cool panning shots from the outside where it shows the camera above the airplane, it's rotating around, you know, things that you would see in a cinematic view. Well, one of the things you weren't able to do up until this release, when it finally comes out, is you weren't able to add or create custom cinematics. Let's say there was a specific portion of the plane that you wanted it to have. Now, you can now add those, and I add that camera as a cinematic camera. It's a quick button. You just push it. I want to add this to cinematics. The other really cool thing is, so let's say you're doing a cockpit or front panel view for your cinematic view. You will add that camera to your cinematic view, and then the cinematic algorithm will automatically add things like, for example, a fadeaway or a pullback of the camera, slow pullback away from the flight panels. You know, you don't have to worry about adding the motion and everything to it. You just designate where you want that camera to point, and then the algorithm will do the work for you as far as creating that cinematic experience. So really neat feature, really awesome ability to create your own custom cinematics. Now, the reason why this is also a really neat factor in this is, if you are unaware, ChasePlane, when you are idle for 5 minutes, I believe, is the default timer. But if you're just idle, like for example, you're up at your cruise altitude, you're not playing with your controls, you're not doing anything, after 5 minutes of idle, the ChasePlane will automatically switch over to the cinematic views. So being able to add your own custom views and features to this is a really welcomed feature. So great job on that again. Now, I believe some of these functions were already in here, but they have now made it so that way these quick actions are now easily accessible. But for example, we were talking about the adding a camera to your cinematics. You can see if you create a camera, and then you can simply click Control and Shift, and it will automatically add that to the cinematic string. And then you can also see one of the things that people were wanting was an easy way to delete a custom view. If you hit Control and Alt, it will delete those. So they did make the quick actions more prominent and easier to understand by providing that list. But I believe most of these were already in there, but they've made it easier to access that information moving forward for ChasePlane. A small adjustment made to the already existing spot views, or the external views. You guys can see in the screenshot here, there is an external, there is a spot view for the external area. And what you can now do is adjust those views to fine tune them to where you want them to be. So again, this is just a small feature, but it is something that was definitely desired inside of the ChasePlane software, where not only do you already have a lot of these views available, but now you can make adjustments to them and save those adjustments as well to your liking. Okay, so a real quick overview of what is changed. We have now a major refactoring. I think I forgot to actually cover this. They have revamped the way that imports work. So imports are now significantly easier. They've added a scroll modifier for camera adjustments and control assignments, as well as the other features that we've already discussed. Now, one thing that I told you guys that we would mention before this video was over, or this section was over, was the changes to or updates on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and ChasePlane compatibility sounds like it's just about wrapped up. No longer any roadblocks or hiccups. However, there is some fine tuning in the software that needs to be addressed. They actually do have a working build version on their own personal machines, but again, as they have stated, they need to fine tune it, clean it up a bit, and make sure that it runs smoothly just as it does in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I completely respect this decision. I think that's the right choice to make, and I love that they have basically told us flat and simple, we don't have any more roadblocks. There's nothing preventing us from working it. It's just a matter of mopping the floors and dusting off the shelves, and we'll have it out to you. So they didn't give any timeline to that yet, which I'm totally okay with. Again, I'd rather just wait, and when they say it's ready, it's ready. But it is nice to know that it is officially working in 2024. So it shouldn't be much longer now. Okay, and so the last update that's coming to ChasePlane is there's now going to be both a stable and an experimental release version of the software moving forward to Club 42 members, I believe. Now, Club 42, if you guys are interested in that, make sure you go check out their website, and it breaks down all the information regarding to how to be a Club 42 member. It's not hard. I believe it's $40, $45 of purchases directly from the Parallel 42 website, and you're automatically a part of the game. So if you guys cycle through all of Parallel 42's products, I promise it is not difficult to hit $45. And it is worth it. Their products are fantastic, and you guys will see more of that as this video continues. But so you will have, just like, you know, fly-by-wire does with the A320 and many others do, for those who just want it to work, want it clean, you don't want to deal with bugs and potential breaking issues, and you just want it as is, you can stay on the stable version. But for those like myself who are willing to take that risk and that plunge into the experimental dark side of things and risk the crashes and the blue screens or whatever it may be, but you really want to try out all the new features, the experimental release is going to be there as an option as well. Again, I believe this was only for Club 42 members, but once again, go check out their website, guys. I'm telling you, it is not hard to be a part of it, and once you're in, you're in. Okay, there's no requirement of how much you have to purchase each year. It's just a set amount, hit this amount, and you're a Club 42 member. And one final reminder that this update is not yet out, and it will be out next week upon their return to their homes, their offices, etc. That way they can be available for support if needed. Now, let's talk about the rest of the Parallel 42 updates. All right, so next up, a quick touch-up on Flow. Flow, again, same thing, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Sounds like they have a working build at home and will be bringing it to the sim as soon as they have ironed it out and polished it. Again, from what it sounds like, no roadblocks, nothing preventing it from being continued to develop for 2024. It sounds like they have a working build of it. It's a beta build on their end, and once they've determined that it is ready for public release, it will be coming out to the rest of us. But again, good information. It's nice to hear that they are not experiencing anything that's actually game breaking or preventing them from continuing to push the software into 2024. Now let's go ahead and talk about their sceneries and other products that are making their way into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Parallel 42 has been working on bringing their fantastic sceneries over to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, this image here does not do these justice. These sceneries are actually full of life. The horses are moving, the animals are animated, the trees are blowing, you know, the dust, you name it, everything you get. Their campsite, the bush plane camp out, one of my favorite things to actually use in Parallel 42's lineup. For example, the fireplace pit, you can see where everyone's sort of chilling around there. The people are moving, the fire smoke is going, really brings the scenery to life, and they're working on bringing those over to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And finally, a real quick update, and by the way, guys, please do not forget, this is all very, very high level and only their key features that are coming next week, but this is not all of their updates that are coming. This is just the highlights, so please keep that in mind. Next up, a new aircraft is coming to the Parallel 42 lineup as they have partnered up with Patriot Aircraft. They are bringing the Patriot or the Super Patriot Mark II to the Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is another low-level bush type aircraft that is extremely high performing and a ton of fun, at least it looks like it, to fly. This thing looks right in line with the kit Fox 42 from Parallel 42, but seems to be an authentic recreation of the real aircraft. For example, those who are actually attending the Flight Sim Expo right now are getting to try out the simulated version while sitting under the wing of the real one. So this is a really exciting time for Parallel 42. Great job. I'm looking forward to this partnership and testing out this aircraft myself as soon as I can get my hands on it. So guys, that's going to wrap up our updates for Parallel 42 for today's Flight Sim Expo 2025 update. As more information becomes available, of course, I will be bringing you guys that information from me to you. So be sure to ring that bell and hit that like and subscribe button if you guys want notifications of future content. Thank you for all the support. Continue to the channel. There's a ton more information I have to get out to you guys, so I'm going to jump off this one, get into the next one, and I'll see you guys soon.